Yeah, 4 hours and 40 minutes, over 500 pitches between the two teams. A great comeback in the bottom of the seventh by UAB to score 4 runs to send it into extra innings. And you could tell by the time that game was over, both of those teams were worn out.
Both were worn out. Both were happy to go get something to eat and to be able to kind of come back down to earth a little bit, because to have almost 5 hours where your nerves, you're a bundle of nerves, in particular, probably a good hour and a half stretch of almost sudden death softball in the extra innings.
Well, and it's hot out there today. There's no doubt about that. Plus, as you mentioned, I mean, it's single elimination at this first day, and so one game and you can be done. That's what UAB experienced today. So not only was it 4 hours and 45 minutes of softball in the sun, but it was pressure softball.
Inside this circle as the runner goes, the throw up towards second, and a stolen base for Lindsey Gregory. Has a runner in scoring position, and the count to 2-2 to Lacey Gregory, with one out on the top of the first. Inside this circle for the Charlotte 49ers is their ace, Haley Wiseman, the junior second-team All-League selection, making her 39th appearance, 36th start of the year, and she gets another fly ball in a shallow center field, and again, Barrier comes in to make the play, and so they're two down. So a couple of fly balls to center field sandwiched around an infield single, but still, as Danielle Gregory comes to the plate with one on and two outs, there is a runner in scoring position, and the senior, a 231 hitter to the dish.
Wiseman really relies on her curveball. That is her out pitch. She can throw it for strikes. She locates it extremely well, and she's got a nice little rise ball that complements it. She was the number 2 pitcher for this team last year behind Lexi Betancourt, but this year has been the ace of this staff.
Opponent's bat just 224 against her. And the pitch in for a strike, and it's now 1-1 on a fastball there. On the 1-0 delivery, look a little bit deeper at the numbers for Wiseman. 22 and 14, a 3.52 earned run average, and 216 and 2/3 innings entering this game. 1-1 pitch. Well, it looked very similar to the prior, but ball 2.
Wiseman named second team all-conference yesterday, so she's had a really good year for the 49ers, who of course are 29 and 22, and had to go into the last weekend and sweep a 3-game series from Middle Tennessee to qualify. Not only did they qualify, but they moved up to the 6th seed.
2-1 pitch misses as well, and it's 3-1. So Wiseman kind of testing her limits here in the top of the first inning. She got that strike call, just barely missed with those last 2 pitches, and it's 3-1.
You look at this North Texas lineup, and it is really top-heavy. Those top 3 batters, Scotty and the 2 Gregory twins, have great offensive numbers this year. But then once you get to the 4-hole, those averages really drop off. They do have some power down the lineup, but as far as batting averages, after those top 3, the top 1 would be 239.
That being Harley Perella, who bats 7th. Payoff pitch and a ground ball hit towards short. Scooped up there. Pace to Harris. And that will end the inning as Danielle Gregory is retired on the 6-3 putout. So in the top of the first inning, no runs on a hit, no errors, 1 left. Bottom of the first inning coming up when we return. The 49ers come to the bat as you're watching the 2017 Conference USA Softball Championship. Spencer Gray, Haley Pace, and Grace Beatty. 1-2-3 due up for the 49ers here in the bottom of the first inning here in Hattiesburg. Game 2, an elimination game on day 1. And inside this circle, it's Jessica Elder, the senior. Wearing number 17 there on your screen, an 8-10 record. 15 start, 32nd appearance of this season. Putting that veteran inside this circle. 3.87 earned run average. She's given up on the year 82 runs, 61 earned on 134 hits, and opponents bat 297 against her.
And Josh, Jessica Elder's a changeup pitcher. That's what she relies on. She'll throw it back to back. She can spot it extremely well. She'll throw hard pitches to set up the changeup, but the changeup is what she really relies on.
Back up the middle, a base hit. A seeing eye single there for Gray, and so Gray comes up with her 49th hit of this season. That's good enough for 4th best on this Charlotte team. This is a very, very young Charlotte team, Malcolm. One to be reckoned with in the coming years for sure.
Not a single senior on this Charlotte ball club, so everybody coming back. And the junior at the plate right now, Haley Pace, one of the best in Conference USA offensively. This matchup today pits two great shortstops, Pace for Charlotte and Scotty for North Texas.
Well, Pace's numbers absolutely ridiculous. I was looking through the numbers last night. I had her just categories like homers, doubles, RBI, hits as the runner goes. The throw up to second and a stolen base for Spencer Gray. So Gray in scoring position now. Back to Pace. Pace in the top 4 in the league in just so many categories. Second in homers, second in RBI, second in runs scored. 4th in hits, 4th in batting average, on and on and on.
Yep, and she can steal a base, 19 of 21, and she's tough to strike out.
Swings away here and lines a single into deep right center field. A run will easily come in to score as the throw is cut off to keep Pace at first base. And so Charlotte comes out in the bottom of the first inning, and they explode quickly. 2 batters, 2 hits, and a run already in.
Well, and this 49er team I mentioned didn't even qualify for this tournament until the last weekend at home. Middle Tennessee came to town, and Charlotte won 3 close games, a couple of 1-run games and a 2-run game, and not only qualified in the top 8, but moved up to the 6th seed.
Swing and a miss as Pace taking off and easily steals second base. So there's, for Pace, stolen base number 20.
They're going to call her out for leaving first base early.
Oh, she left early. I didn't see that. I was just going ahead to mark it that it was a done deal.
Now, the first base umpire, Bubba Ewald, held out that right hand, which signifies she left early.
Good eye there, Malcolm. You know, so many times as a broadcaster, it'll get you. You see something, your eyes, not that they're deceiving you or playing tricks on it, you're just down to stat or score or
same thing happens in basketball. You know about it, Josh. It's tough to try to keep up with everything. It's good to have 2 sets of eyes up here.
It is. So that's a big change. Instead of another runner in scoring position, no outs. Bases empty, 1 out. And a 1-1 count here to Grace Beatty, the junior. 367 hitter at the plate.
This is a dangerous Charlotte team because they're so good offensively when you look at them. From top to bottom, they're a dangerous offensive team, very much more balanced than North Texas. I mentioned the Mean Green really top-heavy in their lineup.
3-1 now to Beatty. Beatty with 54 hits, second on the team, 15 doubles, tops on the team. Second on the team in RBI with 38. And there's ball 4. So instead of runners at first and second, no outs, a runner at first and 1 out.
Already some action down in the North Texas bullpen. Of course, you're 1 and done today. If you lose, you're going home, and you just can't afford to do that. Stacy Underwood, their other senior pitcher down there in the bullpen, staying loose.
Here's Meredith Harris, the cleanup hitting first baseman at the plate. And the pitch is there for ball 1. So the sophomore 336 hitter, 50 hits, 14 doubles, 5 home runs and 35 RBI. Ball 2.
Again, just a sophomore. You look at this lineup, you got a freshman at the top, and then your two next hitters are both juniors, and then 4 through 9 are all sophomores, Josh. So that just tells you how young this Charlotte team is. And, I don't know what they'll do this weekend. It might be one and done. They might go deep into this tournament, but just the experience of getting to play in it with a young team like that will mean so much for them moving forward into next year.
Oh, it will. This is a Charlotte team certainly anxious to be back here. They lost 2 out of 3 here to Southern Miss a couple of weekends ago, and they've been a very motivated ball club since those games here. 2 balls and a strike now to Harris. So Charlotte playing well, and this North Texas team struggling, having lost 12 out of 16 coming into this tournament.
Yeah, they had the last weekend open as far as conference play.
Ground ball snagged up at third, trying to turn 2, and a great play that time by McCauley to reach over and snag that throw from Scotty because it was off the mark and there was no chance to turn 2. But Harris reaches on the fielder's choice and the lead runner is retired, forced out.
You mentioned they struggled down the stretch, but you look and see who they played. I mean, you've got a loss to Oklahoma, a loss to Texas. You went to Ruston and lost 3 to Louisiana Tech, who, of course, won the West. And then you finished the year on that open weekend, 3 games against the #1 ranked team in the country. So down the stretch, they played a very, very tough schedule. I think I read they had 20 games this year against top 75 RPI squads.
1-0 pitch comes in to Emma Oker. And it's in for a strike, and it's 1-1. Josh Wessel onside Malcolm Butler. Our entire crew, phenomenal job here around the ballpark, doing a great job. And we'll be working a little overtime tonight. Here's the pitch, and a swing, and a miss, and it's now 1-2. Oker, a .289 hitter. Has started every game she has played in this year. This is her 47th game, 47th start. Ground ball, base hit. The opposite way into left field by Emma Oker. So a 2-out single, 3rd hit of the inning for the 49ers. And it has runners at first and second base now for Kirsten Barrier.
Well, and one thing we haven't talked about, this first day of this tournament, Josh, again, it's pretty much single elimination today. 6 of the 8 teams will play, seeds 3 through 8. 4 of those are going to be done after today. The 2 that survive today will move on and join Marshall and FIU in tomorrow's when they start the double elimination portion of this tournament.
Meeting inside the circle, you get a great look at the mean green of North Texas. They've got they've got a classic signature look. You look at those uniforms with the pinstripes, but then also when you see those jerseys, you know it's the mean green.
Yeah, you got green for both teams today. Charlotte with a little more black in their uniform, but yeah, those are some classic kind of old school jerseys there for North Texas.
Well, and green's kind of the money color of this league, from Marshall to Charlotte to North Texas. A lot of green in Conference USA. Already a 1-0 lead for the 49ers as a bunt is laid down. Fair ball, throw to first. Right out in front of the plate was that bunt. Barriers retired on the 2-3 throw to first base. But a run on 3 hits and 2 left on base. Second inning coming up. 1-0 Charlotte over North Texas as we go to the second inning. Back here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, we're in the heart of the Pine Belt region on a beautiful day for softball. Already the Hilltoppers of WKU have punched their ticket to take on FAU. Tonight we go to the second inning here, and it is Ochutnicki, Gerke, and Perella, 5, 6, and 7, due up here for the Mean Green. And the pitch on the way from Wiseman is in for ball one.
You know, North Texas got a little something to play for this year. They missed the conference tournament last year when they hosted it in Denton. They were picked preseason dead last in Conference USA. So for them to finish third in the West and get the 7 seed, I know that that makes them feel good, but they want to do more. They want to make some noise here this week.
It has been a league, you know, some of the teams that were maybe midway down, it was the teams that found a way to win those close games.
Yeah,
that punch their ticket here.
No doubt. And, you know, they were such a great team at home this year. If I remember right, I think they were like 11-1 in conference games in Denton, but they really struggled on the road in conference games. Of course, here's a neutral site game, so it'll be interesting to see how both these teams do.
Ochutnicki fouls off the 2-1 delivery. It's 2-2. Speaking of those neutral site games, 8-2 their neutral record this year, and then of course, play the tough strength of schedule, 90th in the RPI. It's a very respectable group from Denton, Texas. And if you've been to Denton, it's so many different environments to play softball in. From the wind always blowing in Denton, there in that little valley they're in, to then going out to El Paso and playing in the desert, playing in that elevation, playing on that fast surface. There's a uniqueness to this league of how everything changes. Then you go down into Miami and play in the muggy and the heat, and so it certainly you get a really, if you got, depending on your schedule, you get a neat tour around this league. And a pop up here on a payoff pitch, putting it away right in front of the bag at second is Pace, and Ochutnicki is retired.
You know, this conference tournament's scheduled, if I'm not mistaken, to go to Charlotte next year. So they'll be the host team. And 3 years in a row, the host has not qualified for it. So I'm not sure if you're the Charlotte 49ers, you feel real good about the fact it's coming to your place next year. But again, a very young team that's shown that they're in the top 6 in this conference, at least for this year.
Well, Haley Wiseman, the young lady spinning it right there, is coming back. And they don't have any seniors, freshmen to juniors, 6 sophomores in that lineup today. It's a group that I would feel confident would break that streak. Pop up to left field here, and retired is Gerke on just a few pitches.
This is a very talented softball league. I mean, you look at Marshall, I think their RPI 25, 26, somewhere like that. FIU, their RPI, Florida Atlantic's RPI, both of them, I think, top 50. So this is a strong, strong league. And again, Florida Atlantic, the defending champion from last year, without Kylie Hansen for the entire conference season, one of the best pitchers in the nation. She'll be coming back next year.
First pitch to Harley Perella is in for a strike, and it's 0-1. Bases empty, 2 outs. 1-0 lead for Charlotte here in the top of the second inning. Big swing and a miss there, and it's 0-2. And so Wiseman has a chance right here to set them down in order in the top of the second inning, and she seems to be pitching with a lot of confidence right now. 0-2 rise ball, popped up, foul ground, and a basket catch made by Harris in front of the dugout there. And that'll end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. It's a 1-0 lead for Charlotte of North Texas as we go to the bottom of the second, and the 49ers look for more here from Hattiesburg. One pitch into the bottom of the second inning as Elder back inside the circle for North Texas. 49ers a 1-0 lead. And at the plate is Becca Shipper, the sophomore.
Josh Shipper actually missed the first portion of the conference season with a broken hand. She was hit on the hand by a pitch against James Madison and was out for a while. So I know Charlotte glad to have their starting catcher back. This is a young lady that actually started her career with the Florida Gators, won a national championship with them before transferring to Charlotte.
That was a big loss in that lineup, for sure.
And defensively behind the plate.
Blooper to short, and Scotty drifts back and makes the play, and a pop-up to short in both innings, both the top of the second here in the bottom of the second. So here comes now Aaron Powers, the right fielder, followed by Lizzie Birch, the second baseman.
These two teams played a 3-game series back in early April. That series played up in Charlotte. Charlotte won all 3 games against North Texas. Run ruled them in the first game before coming back and winning 8-3 and 8-6. So Charlotte had their number. But again, Charlotte, much like most of the teams in this league, so very good at home.
Ground ball hit to second. Lindsey Gregory to McCauley, and they're 2 away.
Now Jessica Elder spotting that changeup and starting to kind of get into a groove after struggling early. And if she could settle down and have a nice 1-2-3 inning here in the bottom of the second, that would really get her confidence back and help the confidence of her team.
Right down the middle for a strike. It's 0-1 to Lizzie Birch, the sophomore. 250 hitter, charged with the task of turning this lineup back over. 6 doubles, a pair of home runs, and 7 runs batted in. And another strike, and it's 0-2. Cindy Brunot behind the plate. Bubba Ewald over at first. Larry Wallace is over at third.
Great facility here, Josh. Obviously, you're very familiar with it here at Southern Miss, and only day 1 of this tournament. But this is a great place to host this event.
Certainly is. I think fans were very pleased with the first game, and the weather's just, right now, it's perfect. 1-2. Outside of the count evens, and noticing the wind, how it's picked up as the day has gone on, kind of blowing out to left and left center, which is very typical for this ballpark. As a 2-2 pitch comes in, and a fly ball hitting the gap in right center, but ranging over is Thompson to put it away, and that will end the bottom of the second inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Charlotte by 1 as we go to the third here in Hattiesburg. Riley McCauley to lead things off for the Mean Green of North Texas as we go to the top of the third inning. McCauley, Bailey Thompson, Kelly Scotty, and a strike in and underway quickly here in the third.
One of these two teams are going to have to play 2 games today. One of them is going to be able to play 2. The loser of this one obviously will go home. And, when you Charlotte, I mentioned earlier, North Texas kind of has 2 starting pitchers, Stacy Underwood and Jessica Elder. Both of those have thrown for over 100 innings this year. You look at this Charlotte staff, Haley Wiseman's thrown 216 innings. The second most is Allison Green with 68. So if Charlotte wins this game, Wiseman's going to have to turn around about 2.5 hours later and throw again against Louisiana Tech. So, there are some teams in this league that have staffs. They have 2, 3 starters that they feel very comfortable with, and that's such a benefit in these kind of tournaments.
Poor communication on an infield pop-up, and McCauley is safely aboard.
Well, that's the shortstop's ball to call, and my guess is, knowing Haley Pace, and as good as she is, she was calling the third baseman, in this case Beatty, off of it, and Beatty was just too late getting over that, or getting out of the way of Pace.
So an error on the Charlotte 49ers. Now, where do we score that error, Malcolm?
Well, they're going to give it to the shortstop, which I think is kind of a tough error, considering, again, it was the third baseman who really got in the way. The shortstop's ball to call, and she was calling it all the way. But they're going to score it as an error on 6. If I was scoring, I'd probably give it to the third baseman.
Popped up, bunt, foul territory. Charlotte gets a gift falling from the heavens as Thompson pops up a bunt in foul ground, and there's one away.
And you got to be able to get those bunts down in these situations. Bottom of the order, you're the 9-hole hitter. All you're being asked to do is move that runner into scoring position with the top of your order and your best hitter in Kelly Scotty coming up.
Scotty 0 for 1 has flown out to center field. He takes a first pitch strike, and it's 0-1. No balls and a strike. 1 on, 1 out after the error.
Kelly Scotty leads this team in hits with 62, with runs with 41, triples with 5, home runs with 9, steals with 22, on base percentage, slugging percentage. I mean, that tells you what type of offensive player and what she means to this team. And this is her type of situation right here.
Takes again another called strike, and it's 1-2. And you're right, we're seeing the players rise to the occasion, especially in an elimination game like this, which is so rare.
Well, and Scotty, one of those seniors, they've got 4 of them, 2 pitchers and Scotty, and she wants to get the job done.
A bloop single to center field gets the job of moving McCauley to second base, and so now runners at first and second base after the second hit of the game by the Mean Green of North Texas. So runners at first and second, 1 out. Here comes Lindsey Gregory, who had the infield single, stole second, and then was stranded at second base in the first.
Well, and I'll go back to the failed bunt attempt by Bailey Thompson. If Thompson moves the runner over to second base, then that single right there probably doesn't score, because the runner's going to have to hold to make sure that ball falls in center field. But you would have a first and third situation here, and you could do so much more offensively.
1-0 pitch. Misses for ball 2. That error for the 49ers, only their 45th of the season. They came in third best in Conference USA in terms of fewest errors. So that was a rarity. 2 balls and no strikes here to Lindsey Gregory as the pitch is ripped on and hit like a bullet some 200 plus feet in over the fence in foul territory.
Well, and Lindsey Gregory, one of the twin sisters, Lindsey and Lacey, batting in the 2-3 hole. Both freshmen, both made the Conference USA All-Freshman team for North Texas.
Pitch in for a strike on the 2-1, and it's 2-2. Runners at first and second. McCauley at second, and Scotty at first. 2-2 pitch nearly caught Lindsey Gregory looking, and the count is full. It's a pretty good pitch that time by Wiseman.
That was a good pitch. I think that one just missed, but that was a good location and a nice eye by Gregory right there.
And just a bit low it appeared. 3-2, fought off. That was a strike fouled away by Lindsey Gregory.
Actually, you've got 3 straight Gregorys in this order: Lindsey, Lacey, and then Danielle. Danielle, no relation to the other 2. She is one of the 4 seniors on this team, but these 2 freshmen are going to be good players in Conference USA for the next 3+ years.
Payoff pitch one more time, hit well into right field, drifting back, reaching up just shy of the track and making the play out in right field for Charlotte was Aaron Powers, and the runners both advance a base on the deep fly ball to right field. That was hit pretty well by Lindsey Gregory.
Yeah, it's a good piece of base running, especially by Scotty at first base. I mean, that's an obvious tag there for this runner at second base. But Scotty realized that the ball was going to be caught in enough time to get back to the first base, tag up, and advance to second. So now you got 2 runners in scoring position with 2 away.
Here comes Lacey Gregory, who's 0 for 1, flew out to center in the first as well. Taking ball 1, ball no strikes. You were mentioning about that record in true road games, 4 and 21, but 8 of the 18 losses by 2 runs or less. Road games. They played, again, North Texas has played a lot of very, very close games this year.
Yeah, I know when they came to Ruston for the 3-game series against Louisiana Tech, talking to their SID, he was talking about how many 1- and 2-run games they had lost in conference play this year, and they lost a couple more that weekend. They've just, again, and a lot of times it's part of having a young team. You've got to learn how to lose or how to win those close games that you end up losing by a run or 2.
2 balls and a strike to Lacey Gregory from Wiseman. A base hit here could give the Mean Green the lead with runners at second and third, 2 outs. As Gregory swings and fouls it off, and it's now 2-2.
You know, you look at the lineup, Lacey Gregory at the plate, batting .321. She's got 7 home runs, 34 RBIs. You got first base open, so you can still pitch her carefully here because, you know, Danielle Gregory coming up behind, batting a full 100 points lower and does not have a home run this year. So Lacey Gregory definitely the more dangerous of the 2.
2-2 pitch, rise ball out of the zone, and the count is full for the second batter in a row. So in particular here in the 3rd inning, Malcolm, we're seeing Wiseman throw a lot of pitches.
Yep, and again, she's the number 1 on this staff, the 1A and the 1B for them, and so she's going to throw a lot through this weekend as long as they stay alive.
Fly ball hit way, way up into left field as Zoker puts it away, and that will end the inning. No runs on a hit, an error to left. To the bottom of the 3rd we go. Still Charlotte leading North Texas 1-0. Right here on BN Sports. One nothing lead for the Charlotte 49ers as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. It'll be the top of the order. Spencer Gray, Haley Pace, and Grace Beatty. 1, 2, and 3 due up, and here's the designated player, Spencer Gray. Gray swings and misses at the first pitch. Again, there's that changeup from Elder, and she's throwing it more and more. She's located. She's throwing it early in the count. She's got a lot of confidence with that pitch right now.
She does, and again, for her to be successful, she's got to be able to locate it.
Gray just puts the bat on the ball, and with the infield pinched in, Scotty is able to put an accurate throw to McCauley after almost mishandling it as it got to her in a hurry, but it's going to go down as the 6-3 put out, and Gray is retired.
Yeah, bang bang play there at first base. Usually with a left-handed slapper up, you can't afford to bobble the ball like Scotty did at shortstop. But the senior, very experienced, stayed calm, picked it up, and made a strike to first base and got the call.
So here is Haley Pace, already ahead in the count, a ball and no strikes. Elder delivers. A called strike, and it's 1-1. Pace, her numbers again: 421 average, 15 home runs, this single season record at Charlotte, and then 45 RBI for triples, 12 doubles for good measure. As her count moves to now 2-1.
Yeah, she's a great student in the classroom. Last year as a sophomore, named a Casada Academic All-American. So she gets it done not only on the field, but in the classroom as well, and that's what you like to see from your student athletes.
2-1 pitch, a called strike. It's 2-2 to Haley Pace, who had the RBI single in the first, but tried to steal second and left early and was called out. Line drive base hit into left, and so 2 at-bats, 2 singles for Haley Pace. And Charlotte's got another base runner here in the third.
Tell you what, sometimes you feel like if you hold her to a single, you've won. That was a change-up that just kind of held out there over the middle of the plate, and Pace did a nice job waiting on it and didn't try to do too much with it.
Here's Grace Beatty. Walked in the first. Checks her swing on a pitch high.
Again, Pace at first base has stolen 19 bases this year, so if you're Ochot Nicky behind the plate, you got to be aware.
Swing, hit into the gap, and this is trouble for the Mean Green. 49ers are waving Pace around third. She'll come in easily to score. It's a stand-up RBI double by Grace Beatty, and it doubles the lead to 2-0 for the Charlotte 49ers.
Yeah, that 2, 3, 4 position for them, I mean, you look at it, they all drive in runs. Pace with 45, Beatty now with 39, and Harris with 35. So it doesn't get any easier as you go 2, 3, and 4 against this Charlotte 49ers team, and I think that's going to probably do it here for Elder.
So we're going to see a pitching change here, and so we'll keep it right here, let you know about the young lady who was entering the ball game, and this should be Underwood, is it not?
It is.
It is Underwood. Stacy Underwood coming into the ball game for the Mean Green of North Texas. And you look at Underwood's numbers, she'll be making her 38th appearance. It'll be her 9th out of the bullpen. She has a 12-14 record and a 3.57 earned run average. In 164 2/3 innings, she's given up 84 earned runs, 106 total runs on 190 hits. She struck out 93, walked 63, and opponents bat 286 against her. And I had Elder kind of penciled in as the starter just because of that senior leadership, but you thought you would see Underwood to start the ball game today.
Yeah, I really thought they would throw Underwood. That was just my guess, but they're both seniors, so they're both very experienced. They're two different types of pitcher. Underwood throws really hard in and out. Her best pitch is a screwball, and she'll try to get the strikeout with a rise ball. So again, just a totally different type of pitcher than what we saw in Jessica Elder.
First pitch into Meredith Harris. Inside for ball 1.
I'll say one other thing. When Stacy Underwood is hitting her spots, she is as good as almost any pitcher in this league. So when she is on, that's why they've got to win over Baylor this year. When she's on, she is really, really tough to hit.
Harris fights off the 1-0. It's a ball and a strike. Harris reached on a fielder's choice, was stranded at second in the first. Sophomore batting .336 with 5 homers, 35 runs batted in, 50 hits. 1-1, line foul. And it's 1-2.
Well, and as good as Haley Wiseman is looking in the circle so far for Charlotte, if you're North Texas, you really can't afford to fall down any further. And so it's Stacy Underwood's job to come in here and get a couple of outs without allowing that runner at second to score in this situation.
Ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 pitch. It's up high, and it's now 2-2. Harris out of Charlotte, North Carolina, so hometown girl. 2-2. Up high as well. Another rise ball misses, and the count is full.
Well, and again, I said it earlier when she came in. If she's ahead in the count, she's going to try to get you to swing and miss at that rise. But a nice job by the batter to lay off of 2 of them and work the count full.
Another foul away by Harris. One of the neat things I was looking at when I was trying to put some notes together for this tournament is that Charlotte, one of 2 teams, the other being Marshall, with a batting average above 300 this year. That was surprising that there weren't more. Called strike 3. Froze Harris looking.
That was a nice pitch, nice location right there. Came inside on the hands and hit that inside portion of the plate, and that's a big out right there.
Indeed, a big out for the Mean Green. As Beatty is at second base, the pitch comes into Emma Oker for ball 1.
Emma Oker, a little left-handed slapper. You see the infield plane in, the outfield is shallow as well.
1 ball, no strikes. The 1-0 is fouled away as well. It's 1-1.
Now, Oker is a left-handed slapper, but she'll also swing for power. You can tell by she's got 10 extra base hits this year, 7 doubles, a couple of triples, and a home run. So she's got the ability to swing away for power. So you've got to be careful if you're one of those outfielders.
1-1 pitch low. It's 2 balls and a strike. Oker, the sophomore, out of Gilbert, Arizona, has a chance with a base hit here, perhaps to tack another run onto the lead. 2-1 pitch, fouled away, and the count goes to 2-2. I was noticing that when you have a player like Wiseman that pitches so well, and she can really keep teams in check. 17-2 this year when the opponent scores 2 or fewer runs, which kind of goes without saying when you're that good inside this circle, but on a day like today, that stat would hold true.
Yeah, and of course, again, they're good offensively, so if you can hold the opponent to 2 or under, you got to like your chances.
2-2, hit sharply to short. Scotty comes up throwing, but a little late. She patted the mitt, and Oker is called safe. She got out of the box very quickly, and so that's going to go down as an infield 2-out hit. Advancing to third on the throw was Beatty, puts runners at the corners.
Well, and Scotty had to wait on her first baseman, McCauley, who was playing up because of the speed of Oker at first to actually get back and cover the bag, and that's why you saw the shortstop Scotty pump fake about 2 or 3 times, which of course allowed Oker to get down the line and beat the throw.
So North Texas now wants to talk strategy, runners at the corners. Certainly one of the things here is what we kind of saw, that delayed double steal is something that's going to come potentially into play here. And so I know that's one thing that North Texas wants to be sure they talk about.
Well, and especially with 2 outs. You know, with 2 outs, you don't have an out to play with. A lot of times coaches will try to steal that run. They're more than happy to give up that 3rd out if they can get that run home. So you see a lot of teams in this league do it. Marshall won, Louisiana Tech is one, and Charlotte is as well. So let's see what they elect to do right here.
Kirsten Barrier takes a first pitch called strike, and it's 0-1. A run here in the 3rd already. Charlotte grabbed a run in the bottom of the 1st as well. Have out hit the Mean Green 5-2 as Barrier on a check swing made contact, and it's no balls and 2 strikes now.
Scored that last one as an error on the shortstop, and unless my eyes fooled me and she bobbled it, which I didn't think she did, I thought she was pump faking waiting for the first baseman to get back and cover the bag. That should have been an infield single.
So called an E6 that has Oker aboard. No balls and 2 strikes to Barrier. Game 204 on this Wednesday. It'll be 2 games tomorrow, 3 games on Friday. The championship on Saturday. Called strike 3. Barrier caught looking on strikes, and that's a couple of strikeouts looking there for Underwood. A run on 2 hits and 2 left on base. To the 4th we go. 2-0 lead for Charlotte here from Hattiesburg. As the shadows grow longer here at the Southern Miss Softball Complex, as we are in early evening here in Hattiesburg, it's the top of the 4th inning. And inside this circle, spinning it well, is Haley Wiseman of Charlotte. Her team has given her a couple of runs of support through the first 3 innings. And it's Danielle Gregory at the plate. She's 0 for 1. She grounded out to short to end the first, but she finds herself ahead in the count here. 2 balls and no strikes.
Now, North Texas has done a good job of putting the ball in play. Wiseman hasn't recorded a strikeout yet, but the Mean Green only with the 2 hits and not able to be played a run so far. So they're going to have to try to find a way to get to Wiseman.
There's a strike, and it appeared from our angle, we're set off to the right of the plate. Looked like she might have gotten a little bit off the plate that time, which is it's bad news for the Mean Green. That's good news for Wiseman if she can hit those spots. That one was well off the plate that time, and the count moves to 3-1.
This is only the 2nd game of the day after the 4-hour and 45-minute first game, 12 innings between Western Kentucky and UAB. So we're in for a long night here in day 1 of the Conference USA tournament.
3-1 pitch is blooped out into left field, and racing in to make the play is Oker out in left, and Danielle Gregory is retired. And there's one away here in the 4th, and here comes Ochenicki. Ochenicki popped up to short. Is 0 for 1, popped up to short to start this 2nd. Hooks one well foul here, and it's 0-1.
The dimensions here, 200 bound down both the lines and 220 to straightaway center field. And you've seen a lot more games here than I have, but how does the ball carry at this park?
It carries very well, as you saw the 2 home runs in the last ball game. Now all of a sudden the wind is kind of blowing out to center, maybe kind of turning, maybe it's times blowing out to left center. You can get it up and get it out of here in a hurry. All flies well. 1-1 pitch. Just misses, and it's 2-1. And those are balls that Wiseman is throwing, but they're just off the plate. They're so tempting to swing at. And a few pitches ago, Wiseman got one of those for a strike. More of a curveball.
Yeah, and that's her curveball. And, you know, the pitcher wants that called, and the batter doesn't. And so far, for the most part, our home plate umpire has not been calling it. And so that's advantage goes to North Texas.
3 balls and a strike. And it's outside, and there's a walk to Ochenicki.
That's the first walk issued by Wiseman in this game. She's coming into today. She had walked 125 batters in 216 innings. So over the course of a 7-inning game, about 4 walks per game. She's had some games this year where she struggled with control. So that would probably be her one weakness, I would say. I mean, she's only given up 175 hits in those 216 innings, so that's less than 1 per inning, which is good for a pitcher. And opponents batting only 224 against her this year.
So here is Gerke at the plate, popped up to left in the second. And a pitch in for a strike, and it's 0-1. So Chitnicki is at first base with 1 out and a 2-0 lead for Charlotte.
Good looking pitch right there. You go down the roster here and you kind of look at these strikeout numbers for North Texas, and they've got some kids, especially in the bottom half of the order, who strike out a lot. Gerke this year struck out 29 times. Ochotnicki in front of her 36, the batter behind her 37, 26, 23. So they are definitely susceptible to the strikeout, but so far only the 1.
I didn't expect this, but this is actually the freshman out of San Antonio, Hannah Rebar, in the pinch hit for Gerke. So you don't expect that this early in this game. But Rebar is in the pinch hit with a 1-2 count. And now the count goes to 2-2. So it caught me off guard initially. I threw you off. And so now it's 2-2, though, to Rebar.
Rebar's got some power, the 5 home runs, but again, she has struck out 35 times. So they're with a runner on first with 1 out. They're rolling the dice here early.
2-2 swing and a miss there by Rebar. And there's 2 away here on the top of the 4th. And Mean Green aren't afraid to put somebody in and see if it can't spark something.
And that pitch looked like it was off the plate. Rebar went chasing that time. And that was a nice pitch and a nice location by Wiseman ahead in the count.
Perella now at the plate. She popped up in foul ground right in front of the dugout to end the second inning. 0 for 1 in the ball game and 0 for 1 here in the count with 2 outs and a runner at first. 0-1 from Wiseman. That's a called strike, and it's 0-2 and a beautiful pitch again. Seems to be in complete control. 0-2 pitch is outside, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, so far she has not had to throw what you would consider a lot of pressure pitches. There was the 1 inning. North Texas could have put a couple of runners on base in scoring position, but for the most part, most of her pitches have come without having a lot of pressure of having base runners, and those are a lot easier to throw than when you're having to throw those pitches with the bases loaded or a couple of runners on in strenuous situations. And again, like I said, if Charlotte wins this game, I can promise you Haley Wiseman will be back out there starting for them in the second game tonight against Louisiana Tech.
2-2 pitch, called strike 3. Her 58th strikeout looking. Tops in Conference USA. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Halfway through this one, here from Hattiesburg, it's Charlotte 2 and North Texas 0.
Proud of our tradition rooted in 12 principles that have guided students, faculty, and our alumni for more than 120 years. As we focus on the future, we are inspired by the accomplishments of our past, for we know that's where our
2-0 lead for the Charlotte 49ers as they've out-hit the Mean Green 5-2. Winner of this game gets a late game tonight in what might be the really late game tonight against the number 3 seeded Bulldogs of Louisiana Tech. Josh Wessel alongside Malcolm Butler. For our entire crew, welcome to Hattiesburg. Southern Miss Softball Complex, 4 busy days. We'll crown a champion this weekend, and we're just happy to have you along. What a way to start the tournament with Western Kentucky winning in extra innings, 12-7 in 12 innings, almost a 5-hour game, and it's got us a little bit behind, but boy, it lets us know we're in for an exciting week.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of teams in this league that can beat each other on any given day, and so that's what it's all about. And the format of this tournament, with day one being more of a single elimination, really puts pressure on these seeds 3 through 8, because again, one bad game and you're going home. And that first one was a great one in a lot of ways, with the exception of it put us about 2.5 hours behind schedule.
Certainly. Becca Shipper at the plate, now ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike. Shipper popped up to short in the second inning. Is 0 for 1. Here's the pitch coming in. And there's a strike to even the count at 2-2. Shipper, the sophomore, batting .289.
And Stacy Underwood, more of a strikeout pitcher than Jessica Elder, who started this game, was, with that hard stuff in and out.
Hit on the nose to center field, almost misplayed there by Thompson, but she reaches up and makes the out. It just didn't look like she had a beat for that very good right off the bat.
Yeah, no, she didn't give us a lot of confidence, but she seemed to have a beat on it. Last minute, she had to turn over the other shoulder and make the play, but she did. Got a new right fielder. Rebar staying in to play right field for North Texas after the pinch hit opportunity in the top half of the inning.
Powers pops up to second, quickly 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th, and here comes Lizzie Birch. She'll going back to that last play by Thompson, seeing it on replay. She had a little better beat on it than I thought initially. Our angle here high at the press box looked like she almost let that get overhead, but on replay, she had it all under control.
She was sure of herself. Me and you weren't so much, but all that matters is that she knew what she was doing out there, and she made the play.
No balls and a strike here to Birch, and Birch leans out of the way of the pitch up and in. Birch flew out to center in the second.
You'd really, if you're Stacy Underwood, would like to retire Birch and get out of this inning, because you got the top of the order. You don't want to put a runner on with 1, 2, and 3 coming up, and give Charlotte an opportunity here in the bottom of the 4th to get something going with 2 outs.
2 balls and a strike to Lizzie Birch. The 2-1 pitch popped up. It's either to short or third, and it'll be Scotty that takes control. The pop up to short ends the inning. 4 in the books. Charlotte leads by 2 through 4. Back with more of our second game of the day in a moment. You're watching the Conference USA Softball Championship. North Texas will lead it off with Riley McCauley, Bailey Thompson, and Kelly Scotty. 8, 9, and 1 at the top of the 5th inning. A 2-0 lead for the 49ers. 49ers got a run at the bottom of the 1st, tacked on another run in the third.
Well, North Texas this year hasn't had a whole lot of success coming back after trailing after 4 innings. They're just 2 and 25 in those games, but they've got 9 outs to play with, but they've got to start to at least scratch for a run to get a little bit of confidence. And, you know, so many times it just takes one big hit, and all of a sudden it's a domino effect, and it gets everybody going energy-wise, and that's what they're looking for right now.
1-1 pitch. Lifted in foul ground. Plenty of room over there in foul territory and left, and Oker puts it away easily, and so the fly ball in foul ground means 1 away. We were noting that in the last game, our first game, that there's a lot of room in foul territory here at the Southern Miss Softball Complex. If you've got speed there on the corners of that outfield, you can get some easier outs.
Makes it a little bit more of a pitcher's park. Looks like we'll have a pinch hitter here. Camille Grauman,
freshman, 5'2", out of Hallettsville, Texas. At the plate, and fouls off the first pitch she sees. So again, we're seeing North Texas just try to find that spark, and sometimes you don't know where it's going to come from.
The infield again playing in, the outfield playing in, except for right field, who's playing a little bit more of normal depth. There's a big hole out there in right center.
Grauman has started 31 games this year, .245 hitter, 24 hits, 2 triples, and 3 runs batted in. Pitch comes in and misses on 0-2, a ball and 2 strikes. So hitting in the spot where Bailey Thompson was for North Texas. Thompson had popped up in foul ground to the catcher. 1-2 pitch out of the zone as well, 2-2. You look at Wiseman, so many innings worked this year, better than 200 strikeouts, second in the league in wins, top in the league in starts now with 36. 2-2, and Grauman fouls it off to stay alive.
You know, only the 5th inning, but this is really a big at bat here. Is your 9-hole hitter. If she can reach, you got your best offensive player, your best home run threat coming up in Kelly Scotty. One swing of a bat, all of a sudden it ties it up. You got to pitch more carefully to Scotty. So if Grauman could reach, that could really change this inning in the right direction, at least started for North Texas.
Well, the count has worked itself full here to Grauman. Bases empty, 1 out. Payoff pitch, and Grauman protects that plate. The slapper climbing the box, as you saw there on your screen, and with just the speed that these slap hitters bring to the game of softball, and how softball is played at such a breakneck pace so many times.
Puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
Swing and a miss on a beautiful drop ball. And that is 3 strikeouts now in the last 4 batters, and now 211 on the year for Wiseman.
Now that was a nice pitch and a big out right there, full count. Again, you don't want to allow the runner to reach with Kelly Scotty coming to the plate, and Wiseman won that battle. So a big out, and Wiseman continues to be the one in total control here in the circle for Charlotte.
7 out of 8 retired. Going back to the third, has not allowed a hit since the third. The first pitch to Scotty is a ball. Scotty is 1 for 2 with a single. That was in the third, and then flew out to center in the first. 1-0 pitch. That misses as well. 2 balls and no strikes. But it's okay to be careful with these players, as you said, that can one swing make it happen.
Yeah, and with nobody on base and 2 outs, you know, the worst she can do is make it a 2-1 game. So I think you can be a little bit more aggressive here with Scotty, as opposed to if the runner had reached and all of a sudden Scotty's the tying run in that situation. But Wiseman knows that, you know, even if she happens to make a mistake or Scotty puts a good swing on a good pitch, it's still a 2-1 lead.
In for a called strike 2. The count evens up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs here on the top of the 5th for the Mean Green. Scotty fights it off and stays alive.
You know, and with, like you mentioned, 2 outs in the 5th inning, you've only got 7 outs to play with. There's no guarantee that Kelly Scotty, the lineup rolls over again if Wiseman continues to stay in control. So, you know, this could be Scotty's last collegiate at bat at North Texas. You hope not if you're a Mean Green fan.
Fly ball to left field. Okerdris back on it, puts it away, and a 1-2-3 inning again for Wiseman. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. Charlotte right now in control as we go to the bottom of the 5th, leading North Texas 2-0. 2-0 lead for the 49ers of Charlotte over the Mean Green of North Texas as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Wiseman dealing. Charlotte has had success with the top of the lineup. Can they do it again here in the 5th as Spencer Gray will lead it off? 1 for 2 with a single, a stolen base, and a run scored, and finds herself in an 0-1 hole working against Underwood.
Well, and this is a big inning for Stacy Underwood in North Texas. They need to keep this a 2-0 game, and you got the top of the order coming up from Charlotte, so it's obviously the most difficult part of the lineup, and so Underwood's going to really have to bear down here, and her defense is going to have to play well behind her. You want to keep this a 2-0 lead because it's already going to be difficult enough to score 2 against Wiseman.
Well, some people today, no doubt, have been kind of trying to count fingers and toes and do the math in their head as to when Louisiana Tech's going to A, find out who their opponent is, B, when they're actually going to get to play their opponent as Gray chases and goes down swinging on strikes. You can give us a little more insight as to what Louisiana Tech is doing today when the day gets pushed back to the extent that it has. How do they adjust?
Well, you know, like a lot of these teams, they came out here earlier about 2:15. Mark Montgomery wanting to watch part of this game, thinking it was going to start at 2:30. And then, of course, that game went extra innings and went 4 hours and 45 minutes. He had him actually sit on the bus thinking, okay, the extra innings won't last very long. I don't want him in the sun watching UAB in Western Kentucky because that doesn't mean anything to us right now. And all of a sudden, the 7th inning went into the 10th, went into the 12th.
As a fair ball by Pace down the left field line, takes a ricochet out of the corner. Pace blazing to third, slides in safely, and she could have gone in standing up. She almost slid for some style points there. That is a triple, and she got the advantage of the nice little kick out of the corner.
Yep, she's now 3 for 3 today, and again, she's doing what she's done all year long. You see why she's batting over .430 and why she's one of the most dangerous hitters in Conference USA. So, runner on third and less than 2 outs, and Beatty, who's already got an RBI double in this game, comes up. Let's see the infield drawn in. They're going to have to try to cut off the run at home.
Pace now 3 for 3, 2 singles, a triple, a run scored, and a run driven in. But to wrap your story,
yep, so
Louisiana Tech.
Finally he sent them back to the hotel, and sure enough, as soon as they left to head back to the hotel, that's when Western scored 5 runs in the 12th. So he waited until right when this game started and brought them back over here. They're sitting in the stands and watching this game, and it's been pretty quick. I mean, this game's what, an hour and 10 minutes old so far, so it's really cruising along. But when this one's over, they'll go back, they'll grab something to eat, they'll change into their uniform, and they'll head back to the park and get ready to play either Charlotte or North Texas, whoever wins this game.
So Beatty, a walk and an RBI double, and takes a called strike, and it's 1-2.
If you're Beatty, you're just trying to make a productive out here. I mean, a fly ball to the outfield. You've seen the speed of pace. It doesn't have to be that deep to score, but you've got to make a productive out. Worst case.
1-2, and that one almost was sent down the left field line. That had Pace limboing out of the way in foul territory.
Beatty, one of the toughest players in Conference USA to strike out. I mean, she's only K'd 7 times this year and 149 at-bats, so she's going to most likely put the ball in play. If you're North Texas, you hope it's a pop-up or a ground ball right to one of your infielders.
Underwood delivers high on the 1-2, and it's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, a run in the first, a run in the third. Again, can the top of the lineup come through in the 5th? 2-2 pitch, lifted very deep to center field. Wind pushing it back, and it's out of here. Well, the wind just got a hold of it, and about halfway out there, you knew it had a chance, and it's a 2-run shot to straightaway center field to the deepest part of the ballpark. RBIs number 2 and 3 of the day for Beatty, and the lead doubles now to 4-0 for the 49ers.
That's a little bit better than a productive out right there. That's a 2-run home run, and I tell you what, that's going to make it even tougher for obviously for North Texas with the way Wiseman is pitching. But it's now 4-0, and hey, you know what? Until the game is over, we saw a 4-run lead disappear in the bottom of the 7th inning of the first game today between Western Kentucky and UAB. So anything's still possible, but these North Texas bats are going to have to try to figure out Haley Wiseman in the last 2 innings.
Gray Pace, Beatty, a combined 5 for 7. That group has hit for the cycle, 3 singles, a double, a triple, a 2-run homer, and a walk. Just a ground out and a strikeout as Meredith Harris is hit by a pitch with 1 out. And so talk about getting it done with the top of the lineup. A run in the first, a run in the third, 2 more in the 5th, and all of a sudden 4 runs on 7 hits.
Well, and we talked about the top of North Texas's lineup, how the North Texas lineup, was more top-heavy. And once you got through those first 3, it really dropped off. Felt like Charlotte obviously had a little bit more balance through its lineup, but there's no doubt that the top 4, Gray, Pace, Beatty, and Harris, are really what make this Charlotte team go, and they've really come through today, especially those top 3.
So a strong lead at this moment for the Charlotte 49ers. Emma Oker, she's got a hit. She's also reached on an error. She's put the ball in play. And there's still only 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning as a slicing shot in foul ground was nearly tracked down by Danielle Gregory. She was playing a little closer to the line that time, and she had a great jump on that softball.
You know, I know Charlotte would love to score a few more and push that lead out even more, because then all of a sudden that gives Amy DeVos, the head coach for Charlotte, the ability to possibly go away from Haley Wiseman in the last inning or 2 as this ball is grounded to the shortstop and the throw not in time. She hesitated that time looking at second. But all of a sudden, if this can get to 6 or 7 runs, you think about, all right, you know what, let's take Wiseman out knowing she's going to have to turn around and throw again later tonight. And let's save her, 10, 15, 30 more pitches that she might have to throw over the last 6 or 7 innings, knowing, hey, we've got a 6 or 7 run lead.
You're exactly right, Malcolm, but let's look at her numbers. So far, 91 pitches, a little bit more than it feels like at this moment. It doesn't feel like she's thrown 91 pitches.
And if they could get by with her just throwing 91 pitches in this first game, and again, for the most part, most of those pitches were not pressure pitches, they're going to feel like not only was it a victory on the field, but it was a victory in the circle as far as not wearing her down.
Kirsten Barrier behind the count, 0-1. Watches the count even at a ball and a strike. Barrier struck out looking in the 3rd, and then tried to put down a bunt for a hit and was thrown out 2-3. 2 in the 1st. 8 hits now for the 49ers. Swing and a miss there for Barrier, and it's 1-2. And so, if I'm hearing you right, do you think there's a chance that Charlotte goes away from Wiseman in the 6th, maybe to, if they need to, bring her back in the 7th?
I think there's a chance if they scored a couple more runs. I don't think they'll do it at 4-0. but I think if they could get this to 6 or 7 to nothing, I think there's a definite thought process that goes into it.
So a fly ball in foul ground retires barrier as Danielle Gregory covers so much turf out there in left field. And the play she's making in foul territory, she's in great position. She's just got great wheels, and she's waiting on these plays in foul ground.
Yeah, they've got them positioned well. A lot of those go in, because of spray charts. They know the tendencies of hitters and where they hit the ball to. When you watch Louisiana Tech, who I'm obviously very familiar with later on tonight, Mark Montgomery loves spray charts, and you'll see him. Hey, we've got some batters in this league, some lefty hitters that he'll bring and play 5 infielders and only 2 outfielders because of spray charts.
I've seen the work of the spray charts and the Louisiana Tech shifts for just certain players, and they're remarkable shifts. But look, the numbers don't lie in so many cases.
Yeah, and sometimes it backfires, but you're playing percentages, and they're not just 60-40. They're percentages that are more like 95-5. And so again, if you look at a spray chart and a hitter goes 98% of the time center field over to left field, you're going to take, or up the middle, you're going to take a chance, and you're going to move runners or defenders around, and that's what some of these teams do. And again, I'm familiar with Louisiana Tech. I've seen Mark do it more times than anybody else, and we've done it a few times the last weekend where we'll bring our right fielder in, and she'll play right at second base. And then we'll shift our center fielder to left center and our left fielder over to left field line, knowing that that lefty hitter is not going to pull the ball.
A pull there into right field and a line out by Shipper to right ends the inning, but not before 2 runs on 3 hits. The big triple and 2-run homer, no errors, and 2 left on base. Through 5, 4-0 lead for Charlotte here from Hattiesburg.
At UNC Charlotte, we know a thing or two about opportunity. We build a foundation, inspired progress. Now, opportunity knocks. Who is it? The future. It's here. But it doesn't end here. It leads you here, here, and here, and pulls you right back here. Feel it? That's opportunity.
UNT is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new point of view. We know what's possible when creativity, originality, and independent thought converge. We're ranked a Tier 1 research university. We're home to excellence the size of Texas. Define your future at UNT and soar to new heights.
At UNC Charlotte, we know a thing or two about opportunity. We build a foundation, inspired progress. Now, opportunity knocks. Who is it? The future. It's here. But it doesn't end here.
Play just underway in the top of the 6th inning. It's a 4-0 lead for the Charlotte 49ers, the 6th seed, leading the 7th seeded Mean Green. And Wiseman inside the circle has been so solid. Again, if you asked her, she's probably thrown a couple more pitches than she would have liked to as she works here to Lindsey Gregory with a 1-1 count, but she's been very efficient.
Yeah, really only the one inning where she gave up multiple base runners and had to throw some pressure pitches. Besides that, most of the innings have been very clean. And like you said, a little surprised with the numbers when we looked at the pitch count, considering it seems like she has really breezed through this lineup. But North Texas has 6 outs to play with, down 4-0.
2-1 pitch, fouled away. It's 2-2. And I think you got to look at players like Lindsey Gregory, Lacey Gregory. So many different players in this lineup. Ochanicki, Danielle Gregory. So many times working the count full. Fouling off pitch after pitch after pitch. That's where that pitch count got up a little bit there from Wiseman.
Yep, but she's done a good job most of the time when the count has gone 2-2 or 3-2 of getting the out and not allowing the base runner. Again, only 1 walk in this game, only 2 hits. So, 3 base runners through 5 innings. Any coach would take that.
3 strikeouts against 1 walk. pop up here by Lindsey Gregory to second, where it's put away there. And for the out was Lizzie Birch. And one away. So Lindsey now 1 for 3. Lacey Gregory 0 for 2 has flown out twice to center field to barrier. The pitch from Wiseman.
Wiseman's done a good job against the top three in this order. I mean, both the hits have come by them. I mean, you're looking at it right now. They're combined 2 for 8, but you've only given up a couple of singles. And against those three, that can really hurt you. That's doing a pretty good job. And then, of course, she's taking care of the bottom 6 in the order, which you've got to do as well. So it's been a fabulous effort by Haley Wiseman. She's spotted her pitches. She's gotten North Texas off balance at times, and she's come up with some big pitches and whenever she's needed them, and there hasn't been too many times where she's needed them.
Lacey Gregory fouls away another, and it's now 1-2, and you see a 4-run lead for the 49ers on the scoreboard, and 4 times as many hits, 8-2. 1-2 pitch just high. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and you know how good Wiseman is tonight and how on she is, because every pitch that just misses, even up here in the booth, I kind of want to swing at it.
Sure, yeah.
It's that close.
No, she's done a good job when she misses. She entices them, and she's really making North Texas work. That pitch, that's just barely foul right there. But again, you're right. She's locating her pitches extremely well, and when she's doing that, and she's getting ahead of the counts, she's tough to hit.
2 balls, 2 strikes. To Lacey Gregory. Almost strike 3. Another good pitch by Wiseman. She just paints the edges, just misses. Where if you're Lacey and you swing at that, it's going to be tough to do a lot with that pitch.
You just foul it off.
3-2 down, and Gregory draws a walk. Just the second walk of the day issued by Wiseman. And folks, Lacey Gregory earned it because, again, I can't overstate it. There were multiple pitches that looked like they were too good to lay off of, but they were a ball.
Yeah, that last pitch was the worst of the bunch. I mean, the other ones were all very borderline and could have been called strike. That 2-2 pitch definitely could have been. And a nice job by the batter as she draws the walk.
We had talked about what the team Louisiana Tech awaiting this winter is going to do. What are you going to do in between, the next ball game?
I'm going to get something to eat.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I'm going to get something to eat and enjoy watching a little bit of Florida Atlantic and Western Kentucky, which should be an interesting matchup. I know Florida Atlantic swept them in Bowling Green earlier this year, and you got to feel like Western, after playing for 4 hours and 45 minutes in the heat of the sun, it'll be interesting to see if they have much left. But it's a really good Florida Atlantic team, and so it's always fun at these tournaments. You only get to see your own team play these groups as you go through the year. It's fun to see them play each other and see how they match up against each other.
Quickly, 0-2 to Danielle Gregory. 2 pitch outside, and boy, coming up looking like she was ready to uncork one was Becca Schipper. Gregory 0 for 2. Has grounded out to short and flown out to left. And Gregory sends that one a mile foul.
North Texas is, you look at next year, they're going to have to replace their top 2 pitchers, Underwood and Elder, who are both seniors. Are going to have to replace their two-time first-team all-conference shortstop and Scotty. So there's some big pieces to the puzzle they'll have to replace, but they got some nice pieces coming back.
Called strike 3 on the outside corner freezes Danielle Gregory. And again, that strikeout looking number, 59 strikeouts looking this year for Wiseman. And as we mentioned, heading to break a couple of innings ago, first in Conference USA. And if you can be first in pitching in any stat that's good in this league, got to tip your cap to you.
Well, that means you've got some great movement on your pitches. You're getting ahead of batters. You're keeping batters off balance. And, when you have that many strikeouts looking, it means you've got some good stuff.
She certainly does, and only a junior. I mean, I'm high on this Charlotte team to break the curse next year.
Yeah, I'm
as
with
they
you.
say.
I agree.
And that curse that people are going, the curse, well, that is this the third year in a row that the host school has not been in the tournament. Charlotte's set to host next year, and this Charlotte team without a senior. So like they said, it was an easy senior day.
Didn't think about that.
1-1 pitch, up and in, 2 balls and a strike. And we were told how short that game was. Final game of the season, 77 minutes.
Well, hour and 17, huh?
That is moving.
It's about 25% of what game 1 today was.
2-1 pitch. Well, that game 1 today, it's kind of cool to be a part of it because we're all going to be talking about that one years from now.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That's going to be one that we remember. It was great back and forth, and we're going to all be checking our eyelids for cracks about midnight tonight as we're still playing here because of it, though.
Here's a ground ball to short. The throw to second, and it pops away from Birch. So Pace was able to field that. The throw to Birch, it popped out of her mitt. It's going to go down as an error. It's got to go down as an E4.
Yeah, I
that
would
allows
think so, too.
Ochanicki to reach on a fielder's choice.
The throw was, it was a little wide, but not bad. And the second baseman, Birch, just dropped that one.
So here's Rebar. Rebar is 0 for 1, struck out swinging in the 4th. So 2 on, and a swing and a miss by Rebar, and it's 0-1. Rebar came in to pinch hit for Gerke in the 4th, and Gerke popped out to left. And again, as we said, Rebar the strikeout. A 1 pitch, well, just a wasted pitch, and it's now 1-1.
Wiseman really working the outside corner and off the plate. She doesn't come in a lot, but when she does, because the batter's leaning out over the plate, it makes it difficult.
1-1. That one looked, I thought from here, but I should have looked at the monitor. I couldn't tell where that pitch was. Yes, I couldn't tell where it was. 2-1. She's so good that even the balls look like they could be strikes. That was definitely a strike. Fouled back, and it's 2-2.
Don't be surprised to see her go with that curveball off the plate here. Again, she can locate it so well. Rebar has struggled with it her 2 at-bats. I don't even think you have to find a portion of the plate. I think you can throw it just off the outside, see if Rebar can take it or not.
2-2 pitch. That one fouled, heading back towards us. That one gets right over the press box. We've got kind of a unique net here, do we not?
You do.
No chance at a foul ball for the broadcasters.
No, disappointed. I wanted to see your hand-eye coordination.
I've got it, man.
I believe it. You look, not counting this at-bat, Wiseman's thrown another 23 pitches in this inning. So with this at-bat, that's probably 27-28. And so, again, if Charlotte could have scored a couple more runs, they might have been able to not have these pitches. They could have gone to an Allison Green to come on in relief, but with just a 4-0 lead and 6 outs to play with, as the head coach, I don't blame you. I'd probably stick with her as well.
She's right at, unofficially, 120 pitches. So it has gone up quite a bit. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Lacey Gregory at second. Ochanicki at first. 2-2 is fouled away as well.
Rebar's doing a good job. She's fouling off some tough pitches here, so give her credit.
I've also got to give credit to one of our SIDs from Southern Miss. David Cohen makes a great grab. He reaches up and snagged it with the left hand.
Wow.
Which would have been his glove hand, indeed, but still a nice grab.
His dad would be proud.
2-2. Just misses, and it's now 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and that missed off the plate. That was a really good eye by Rebar. So, again, if Rebar can work a walk here, all of a sudden a tying run comes to the plate. And these are some pressure pitches that Wiseman's having to start to throw here in the top of the sixth.
Big payoff pitch. 3-2 line, pass pace in the gap, no less, and all the way to the wall. 2 runs will score. It's going to be a stand-up 2 RBI double, and the lead is cut in half by Rebar on a payoff pitch.
And how big is that error at second base now? You would have been out of the inning, still leading 4-0, but now all of a sudden it's a 4-2 ball game. And the thing to keep in mind, Josh, is not only are you scoring some runs, but you're starting to turn that lineup over where when you come to the 7th, even if you don't score any more runs here, you got a great chance to get back to Scotty and the Gregory twins.
Certainly that is the case. Now this is a Charlotte team that will address the situation. That situation is the tying run coming to the plate in the top of the 6th inning. And it will be scheduled Harley Perella, the third baseman.
Perella's got 4 home runs on the year, so she's capable of tying this game up.
Sophomore out of Frisco, Texas. And speaking of Frisco, Texas, now some rumors buzzing around that the Conference USA Tournament basketball could be in Frisco, Texas at the Cowboys facility.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
That would be a lot of fun.
It would be a lot of fun. I think
that would be a lot of fun.
You know, that area obviously is a hot recruiting bed for a lot of the teams in Conference USA, and there's big fan, alumni basis for a lot of the teams in Conference USA. So it makes a lot of sense to take it to the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Certainly worth a shot. And it's close to a lot of fan bases. If any team is having a super year, and I'll explain more after this 1-0 pitch. Certainly 2 great airports. For teams like Louisiana Tech, Southern Miss, that's just hop in the vehicle and drive if you want to. San Antonio Drive, UTEP, you can fly in cheap to DFW. So there's just a lot there going for you. Pop up right near the plate, reaching up to put it away. To end the inning is Shipper, but the error means damage was done. 2 runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left on base. We go to the bottom of the 6th. The lead is half. 4-2 Charlotte here from Hattiesburg. Well, it's setting up for more dramatics here at the Southern Miss Softball Complex in Hattiesburg. Josh Wessel onside Malcolm Butler as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Charlotte a 4-2 lead. They've got Powers, Birch, and Gray, 8-9 and 1 due up. As the first pitch swinging is sent hooking over the fence foul, but not by that much, only by about 15 feet from being a solo home run.
Well, and I said it last inning, and it didn't happen, but Stacey Underwood has got to come in and shut down Charlotte here in this inning. Give her team a chance going to the top of the 7th, only trailing by 2 runs. So it's on the shoulders of Underwood in this defense.
We're setting it up for Powers. It was actually Alex Paulson, the pinch hitter here, with a 178 average. And now a no ball and 2 strike count. She's coming up aggressive, swinging, and takes, though, a called strike 3. Wouldn't you know that I was bragging on her first 2 cuts, and then she got froze there on the outside part of the plate. And now here comes Lizzie Birch.
That was a good pitch there by Underwood, and That's her, what, 4 strikeouts since she came in the game now in 3 innings, and she's done a nice job. And again, critical that she gets Birch out. If you can get 2 outs with the bottom part of the order, then you go to the top part just needing 1 out. And Gray, Pace, and Beatty have really caused some havoc today for North Texas. So you'd sure like to get to the top of the order with nobody on and 2 outs.
No balls and a strike here to Birch. A 1 hit on the nose, lined out to Scotty.
Yeah, it's one of those, you go back to the dugout and you know you did everything you could. It's the game of softball, and baseball are games that you're going to fail the majority of the time. I mean, if you're a 350 hitter, you've done pretty good, but you've failed 65 out of every 100 at bats. So, sometimes you hit a little blooper that falls for a base hit, and sometimes you hit it hard, but you just hit it right at somebody, and that's what she did right there.
Here's Spencer Gray, 1 for 3. Single, stole second, and came in to score on the RBI single by Haley Pace in the first. Charlotte would love to be able to get Pace back to the plate. Swing and a miss by Gray there. And it's 1-1.
That was a nice play by Scotty at shortstop, too, because that ball was hit so hard. It really had a tail on it, and it wasn't as easy as it might have looked.
1-1 pitch. Misses there. And so 2-1 to Gray. Leadoff hitter in this 49ers lineup. 49ers team looking for their 30th win of the season tonight. But more importantly, trying to extend their season. So are the Mean Green. As the count goes now to 2-2.
Well, she's 1 strike away from putting her team back in the dugout, only trailing by 2 going to the 7th.
2-2 pitch. That was almost strike 3 as well. Underwood for a moment thought she had just caught the outside corner.
Well, and if you're Underwood, you want to get more of the plate than maybe you normally would. You want to take your chance with Gray here. Maybe she hits it hard at somebody or strikes out. You don't want Pace coming up.
And there is ball 4. So Pace gets an opportunity here after having singled twice, tripled, scored twice, and driven in a run. And then after Pace, it's Beatty. So this is the part of the lineup that has made it happen for the 49ers.
Yeah, she was too careful there with that 3-2 pitch.
But the Mean Green are back in the ball game. Line drive. It's a gapper that's cut off, but still the speed that time of Gray, never checking up around second, gets to third, and then on the throw towards third, Pace goes to second. Well, that's one where you almost want to throw back to second base, knowing that Gray's going to get there.
Yeah, Pace now 4 for 4 in this game, and you got first base open. Here comes Tracy Key out to the circle. She's going to talk with her pitcher, and Beatty and Harris are very similar batters as far as their offensive numbers. They're both hitting over 300, one with 4 home runs, one with 5. They both got in the high 30s in RBIs. Actually, I guess Beatty now with 41 after the 3 today. I would walk Beatty in this situation and take my chances with Harris if it's me. But we'll see what she elects to do.
I don't think there's any question. I think that is spot on the right thing to do, because then it also puts a force at every bag.
Yes.
So it brings that into the equation as well. Grace Beatty, her last 2 at-bats, a 2-run homer and an RBI double. So she's been on fire. She's also walked in the ball game, 2 for 2. They're going to throw at her, literally. I thought they were going to throw more to her, but no, they threw at her, and she is hit by a pitch, and well, that's one way to get to first base. That was the much more uncomfortable way for Beatty.
Yeah, that's I think my guess is they were not going to give her anything to hit. They were going to see maybe early in the count if she would go chasing or something, because that pitch missed well inside. But again, this might backfire. You never know. But the way Beatty has hit the ball today, I would take my chance with Harris, who's 0 for 2.
Has also been hit by a pitch. And takes a first pitch that misses for ball one.
And you can't afford to fall behind Harris.
Underwood delivers 1-0, ground ball to third, and this should get the Mean Green out of the inning, and it just does, as a nice stretch that time by McCauley. She kind of stumbled, but then got that back foot back on the bag, and a 5-3 ground out ends the inning. In the inning, it was no runs on a hit, no errors, and 3 left. And so we go to the 7th, 4-2 lead for Charlotte over the Mean Green of North Texas. 4-2 lead for Charlotte over North Texas as we go to the top of the 7th. And McCauley to lead things off against Wiseman, in the first pitch is in for a strike, and it's 0-1. McCauley, Thompson, Scotty. And this game is this close, 4-2, yet feels like Charlotte has dominated. They've out-hit North Texas 9-3, but the Mean Green have given themselves a chance with their best player coming up third.
And again, it's critical that one of these 8-9 hitters, and she gets hit. There you go. As I say, it's critical that one of them reaches base.
And it brings the tying run to the plate here on the top of the 7th. Well, fans, the Machua Madrid Open continues on beIN Sports with quarterfinal action from Madrid, Spain. Live coverage begins at 6 a.m. Eastern. American Coco Vanderway remains in the tournament. She'll be taking on Simona Halep. She's the defending WTA Madrid Open champ. So tune in tomorrow for WTA tennis only on beIN Sports as the first pitch strike comes in to Thompson, and it's 0-1. So we're seeing Wiseman throw good pitch, bad pitch, good pitch.
Grauman, who came on to pinch hit last time in this 9
Excuse me, it is Grauman.
She struck out swinging, I believe, in her pinch hit opportunity.
She did strike out swinging, 0 for 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 4-2 lead. Scotty on deck for the Mean Green, as this one is lined foul. And it's now 1-2. And again, back to Wiseman. I mean, we're seeing very few misses from her. Very uncharacteristic that she would hit a batter in that moment because she's working ahead of the hitters. She is in control. She just maybe taking a little chance here and there and missing.
Yeah, and that's a big base runner.
1-2, hit towards short on a line there, back to first, double play.
You cannot get doubled off there.
6-3 double play as Grauman lines it out to short to Pace, and McCauley got caught leaning. More so than leaning as we see it again.
Yeah, that is an absolute no right there. You cannot afford to get doubled off in that situation, knowing that Scotty is coming up as the tying run with you on first base.
Now Scotty needs to reach to extend the game and takes a strike, and it's 0-1. And if you don't think that sent a surge of adrenaline through the body of Wiseman, you're crazy.
And took the air out of the sails for North Texas, I can promise you.
Still the top of the order. 0-1 pitches outside. And it's 1-1. But now the base is empty, 2 outs. Rather than a runner at first and 1 out. Game changer.
Yeah, and I can promise you the last thing that the first base coach for North Texas said is make sure a line drive gets through, don't get doubled off. And I don't know if she felt like that ball was going to fall and not be caught, but in that situation, you can't afford to be doubled off.
Swing and a miss. Scotty chasing, and it's 2-2. How about Haley Pace? 4-for-4 day. 3 singles, 2 runs scored, a run driven, and a triple. Gets the huge double play.
Now the two all-conference kids, Pace and Wiseman, have looked at the park today for Charlotte.
2-2 pitch, and she just gets a piece of it off the end of the bat to stay alive. So an even count, and it's, again, you're in the flow of the game, you're in the heart of the game, and then all of a sudden, here you are in a situation where you're staring your season in the face, the end of it potentially. And what does Scotty do? She steps up and loops a single into center field. But it's just that fast how a play here, a play there can completely shift the momentum.
Yeah, there's been a couple of those today. I mean, earlier in the game when they had a runner on first, I think it was McCowie, and Thompson wasn't able to get the sacrifice bunt down. And of course, then Scotty comes up instead of having a runner on second and 1 out. There's a runner on first and 1 out, and she singles to put runners on first and second, where maybe the single scores the run in that situation. And so again, there's just been a couple of those plays today for North Texas where they've really shot themselves in the foot, and it's come back to haunt them. Kudos to the senior Scotty for keeping the inning alive, and now you got a couple of freshmen coming up batting over 300 who have an opportunity. But man, if you had runners on first and second night now with only 1 out, there would be a lot of pressure on Wiseman in this Charlotte team.
Here's the pitch coming into Lindsey Gregory, and it's in for a strike, and it's 0-1. And again, time after time, Wiseman works ahead of a mean green hitter. But again, instead of runners at first and second with 1 out, a runner at first with 2 outs, but the tying run is at the plate. Here on the top of the 7th, and a line drive to left, right to Oker, and the Charlotte 49ers extend their season by a game, and the North Texas Mean Green see their season come to a close as the final line tonight in this one, 4 runs on 9 hits, 2 errors for Charlotte, 2 runs, 4 hits, and an error for the Mean Green of North Texas.
Charlotte gets their 30th win on the year, so there's a milestone every club shoots for at the beginning of the year, so congratulations to them, and they extend their season. They'll have about 2.5 hours or so before they turn right back around and play the number 3 seed Louisiana Tech. But Haley Wiseman, even though she gave up a couple of runs late, they were both unearned. She really was in control in this contest.
Certainly was, and so that was a game that certainly this tournament needed to be able to start making up some ground here tonight. So typically 30-35 minutes or so in between ball games here tonight as we are waiting on the third member of our crew, Maddie Morris, to catch up with the head coach of the Charlotte 49ers to talk about the ball game tonight as Coach Amy DeVos' 23rd year and that 49er program. We're going to be talking to her in just a moment as Maddie tracks her down. But as you said, the stars came to play today. Pace with the 4 hits. Wiseman was so solid. And although she threw a lot of pitches in this ball game, she pitched very well. She was in control. She'll get to rest. They'll, whatever treatment type, whatever she needs to do with her trainers to either stay warm, get some relief, get some fuel back into her body. I promise you this, she'll be ready to go tonight. Louisiana Tech knows it.
She will be, and this won't be the first time that she's thrown 2 games in a day. So, again, it was probably a benefit to her that that first game went so long because, again, instead of playing from 2:30 to 5 in the heat of the day, it was a little bit later, probably not quite as hot out there. And, again, although she threw a lot of pitches, not very many of them were in pressure situations. I imagine she'll be perfectly fine tonight, and I know she'll be out there and she'll be ready to compete.
All right, so I do see Coach standing by with Maddie. Let's go down to Maddie Morris down on the field. Maddie, take it away.
Charlotte head coach Amy DeVos. Coach, obviously you guys had to wait a long time, but you got your game in and out very quickly. Really balanced on both sides of the ball. What do you have to say about your performance today?
Definitely, we're a fast-paced team. We thrive on that, and obviously we took every opportunity we could to get
All right, thanks so much, Maddie. Great job by you down on the field. As again, final score here: Charlotte 4-2 winners over the Mean Green of North Texas. Later on tonight, it's going to be the Hilltoppers coming up in about 35 minutes or so against the Owls of FAU. The Extra is coming up next on BN Sports for my partner Malcolm Butler and our entire crew here in Hattiesburg. I'm Josh West. Thanks for watching the Conference USA Softball Championships here on BN Sports, your home for all of your Conference USA action.